You are listening to Haven Talks, a podcast that engages in conversations and discussions on issues of the arts, advocacy, social injustice, and so much more. This podcast is sponsored by Music Haven, a nonprofit organization located in New Haven, Connecticut, that empowers and connects young people through exceptional tuition-free music education, mentoring, and performance. Music Haven, giving all kids a chance to play. Learn more about them by going to musichavenct.org.
Yo, what's up, kings, queens, and ethereal beings? This is your boy, Robert, and I'm here with my girl,
Janae.
And you're listening to Haven Talks.
And you know, we're going to be coming to you with conversations about a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a whole lot of us. So, you know, join us for the chats.
And so, as you guys may have already guessed, Janae and I go way back. We actually met at Music Haven and are now what was it? What's that word called? Where you're participating in something, and it's not a coalition, but it's a
network.
A fellowship, maybe?
A
fellowship. We're a part of the Alumni Network Fellowship. And essentially what the Alumni Network does is a part of Music Haven, and it provides paid fellowship opportunities, job opportunities to Music Haven alumni in order to keep them supported and connected to the larger web of the Music Haven family. So essentially, now it is through that network that Janae and I have this platform to essentially speak our minds on sensitive issues that are going to be addressed in this podcast. And while I'm at it, let me give you a little bit about Music Haven. Music Haven is inherently an advocacy organization in the arts, which is essentially what this podcast is going to be based on. They provide many opportunities to children and teens who are underrepresented in their community, shut out of the classical music world due to lack of exposure and resources, and don't have anyone standing up for them. This group primarily exists in New Haven, but is the sort of program that really needs to be spread everywhere. Is something that can change lives, help make better people, and it's things like the community care, the relentless professional technique of the HSQ, and music that really help support children and give them a place where they feel like they have a voice and can do something beautiful, like making music.
You know,
so as alumni of this program, Janae and I, we're ecstatic to give our opinions on the issues that we perceive in our little small world.
You know, as was stated, Music Haven, giving all kids a chance to play. That's a line.
Ayo.
You know, because Music Haven gave me a chance to play. Okay. But, you know, as Robert said, we're alums of Music Haven, and we are fellows, you know, of the Music Haven Alumni Network. You know, he told you a little bit about how it works, but I want to encourage you guys to go to the Music Haven website, which is musichavenct.org, and click on the programs tab, scroll all the way down to the bottom. Not only will you see a little throwback of your boy Robert.
I'm glad you said throwback.
And, you know, it's a little throwback picture of your boy Robert with a couple other people.
It's a little rough.
It's a rough draft. But you know, you get a little picture of Robert and a couple other fellows. I'm not in it, no. But you also get, you know, a great description of how the Alumni Network is another great part of the programming at Music Haven. For this podcast, we also plan on inviting other fellows of the Alumni Network, so y'all can hear all the great things going on with their lives and how Music Haven has helped influence and structure them.
So Janae, now that we've done our little part, how about we get right into the nitty gritty by introducing ourselves? What you got to tell the world about you? What you up to?
Well, you know, I'm Janae. Clearly, y'all already know that. You know, one of the baddest co-hosts around. But I graduated from Music Haven and Co-op High School in 2018. So now I'm a second year junior at CCSU. I am working on my BA in theater design. So, you know, if you ever need a set built, don't call me because that's hard work. But I'm passionate about the arts, and I love holding conversations about advocacy and social injustice. Like, it's literally everywhere. I eat, sleep, and breathe advocacy. But, I'm excited to work on this podcast with my fellow alum, Robert. But, Robert, spit something. How are you? What you doing? What you be doing?
I mean, I guess Janae and I graduated at the same time, 2018. But now I attend WCSU. I maintain a double major, where originally I started out in music education, and then I decided, like, I don't know, maybe being a teacher isn't what I was meant to do.
Maybe.
I
it wasn't written in the stars.
Right. The stars were like,
we're going to delete it and rewrite it.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that one? So now I'm a double major in computer science and music performance, still keeping the music aspect a part of my life. I'm very passionate about playing the viola. I've attended many intensive music camps and an international music festival.
Yeah, international. Come on here.
Stop? You're embarrassing me.
Come on here, Mr. Italy.
Literally, stop. And even participated in some local and regional chamber and concerto competitions. My dedication to Music Haven were mentally, physically, musically, personally, all the Elise, transformative in ways that I'm still discovering today. And I came to talk about the stories I've collected over my life and relate them to the arts and the social crises of our time now. And so, to do my part in raising up Black voices in the arts, past, present, and future, I would like to introduce to you all a classical composer who, for once, isn't a dead white guy.
Period.
I didn't say Mozart. I didn't say Beethoven. I didn't say Tchaikovsky. I said
Johann Sebastian, dead. White.
He is dead for a couple hundred years. Deaded.
Gone.
But my boy Samuel Coleridge-Taylor. And now let me tell you a little bit about Samuel, right?
Not to be confused with Samuel Taylor Coleridge. That is a dead white guy.
Although he was named after him, but that's to happen when your mother's from England, and that happens.
That's what happens when you have the white mom.
You get named after the white man. It's okay.
She doesn't have any Black friends.
Born in England, he grew up sort of in the slums with his mom, and first learned and encountered music through his mom's dad, who was his grandfather. He played the violin. Samuel was maybe 5 or something like that, and he got violin lessons from grandpa, and grandpa was like, dang, you kind of better than me. But I was like, I guess I'm gonna get you the connect up. And so Samuel started taking music seriously. He studied at the Royal College of Music in London and became quite critically acclaimed in the British classical music world at an early age. So much so that he was being commissioned to write pieces as early as 23. He was spitting on the track.
Okay, sir.
Unfortunately, he did suffer severe racism throughout his entire life, but that didn't stop him. He continued to make chamber works, solo violin works, all kinds of music by combining African folk song and idioms into his music, especially after being enamored by it when he listened to the Fifth Jubilee singers. That's Fifth Jubilee, that's their name, and they were singers, so let's not be confused. They sang some African hymns and folk songs, and he was like, damn, this is gorgeous. I need to be writing that. And he incorporated that into his music. So I would like to strongly encourage you guys to check out Samuel Coleridge-Taylor's composition Deep River, arranged for violin and piano on your favorite streaming service, whether that's Spotify, Apple Music, you watch it on YouTube, however you got to do it up and give my man some love.
Personally, I think Deep River is really, really good. It sounds very much like a ballad. I'm a ballad type of person. I really love anything slow, anything sad, anything that provokes such emotion.
She said, I like pain.
I like pain. I like suffering. I really do. But I think it is really nice. I don't understand, though. I do understand because, racism and discrimination, but you can't I just don't understand. Like growing up, I only knew about Mozart. I only knew about Bach, Wolfgang, Amadeus, those are the only people that I've ever heard
Sebastian?
of. Like, period. Like, those are the only people that I've ever heard about. So, like, I not once growing up did I think, like, is there a Black composer? Is there somebody, like, is there a woman composer? Is there somebody that looks like me?
Exactly.
And it's like, it's nice knowing that, like, there's still that Black influence. And speaking of Black influence, Robert, have you heard of K-pop?
You said IHOP? Oh, they have a nice short stack. They absorb
IHOP food is nasty. I don't know why you say it's Chip's family restaurant all like day. Thank you. Anyway, but no, K-pop. Do you know what K-pop is?
I don't really know about K-pop. Can you enlighten me, sis?
Okay, but K-pop, for those like my friend Robert here that don't know, K-pop stands for Korean pop music. I personally, I like to dabble. I like to, get into some different types of music, and I listen to K-pop. I think it's really nice. It helps me learn another language. It helps me become connected to people.
Are you out here learning Korean?
Yes. What? I'm not about to start speaking Korean because I don't. I could say
you're observing.
You know Korean. What? I'll teach you a little. Okay, this is how you say hello. Mm-hmm. My name is blank. 안녕하세요. 지네입니다.
Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, I already know. But it also helps me be connected to people from, other parts of the world, other regions. But I started to get into K-pop around 2018. So I didn't have any like boy band-esque music to listen to until I got introduced to K-pop, because K-pop has boy groups and girl groups. And their sound is so completely different from what you hear in America. Like, it is crazy. They're amazing over there. Like, they're insanely talented. But, the Black influence that goes into, like, the K-pop culture is insane. Like, they do a lot of hip hop. They use a lot of AAVE. The influence is a little weird. It's a little weird sometimes. I'm not going to lie. They make really good music. But when you listen to K-pop, you have to realize that what comes with K-pop is racism, is cultural appropriation, is discrimination. They have like a Jim Crow-esque character that they still use to this day in Korea, and that they still use to mock Black people. I don't want to be running them into the ground. Like, I understand. Like, I don't understand, actually. Like, this is 2021. Like, why is racism still a thing? Especially, like, over there. But
Oh, baby, because it never died.
It's never, that's just what I be thinking. But
just since the beginning of time, humans have just hated each other, especially when
really,
you're darker.
But I thought what happened to the POC solidarity? But you know what? Let me keep my mouth shut. About it. But, like I was saying, these artists, some of them even use, like, sacred Islamic text in their songs. Like, literally, like, they'll take pieces of the Quran and put it in their songs. You know what, Chinkyoon, I'm talking about you. Monsta X, you ain't safe. It is very serious, and I will continue to have these talks about it, because if nobody's going to talk about it, then I will. Like, right. I have to speak up for my community, because, we get silenced all the time on Twitter. Black stans, we can't talk about our feelings because now we're racist or now we're too sensitive. But there are some groups that are very mild. But, I wanted to plug some songs just like Robert. He got his little Deep River, and I'm going to plug some K-pop songs.
Deep River.
I'm going to plug some K-pop songs, just two from two different groups. So there's one group, Tomorrow by Together, also known as TXT. They are, very talented teenagers. And also ATEEZ. ATEEZ is my main group. I love them. Me and Song Mingi, we will be getting married. So you all are invited to the wedding when I announce it. But if you will help Mingi out and give him money and listen to his song Treasure, him and his group, okay? They really spaz. So I really think you guys should listen to them. Do it for Mingi.
All right, kings, queens, and ethereal beings. Let's get off the air before... No, let me stop.
Let's get off the air before I run it to the ground about Mingi.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our first episode of Haven Talks. Woohoo. I would just like to quickly give a thank you and shout out to everyone that helped launch this podcast. Thank you to Music Haven's executive and co-executive directors, Mandy Jackson and Nilda McClain. Thank you to Music Haven's communication associate and our podcast producer, Miss Kat Zamora.
Yeah.
We thank Yaira, Philip, Annalisa, and Gregory, who are not only members of the HSQ, but are also instructors providing that conservatory, and I do mean conservatory, level of training at Music Haven. Big shout out to Colin Ben and Patrick Doan, Music Haven's resident musicians. And matter of fact, just shout out to all of our Music Haven instructors for their endless dedication to our development as young musicians and proactive adults. Overall, a huge thank you to everyone at Music Haven for making this happen.
We'd also like to thank Music Haven's institutional supporters. Their support and investment in Music Haven's programming help keep the music going. So huge thank you to all of Music Haven's donors and supporters. Y'all help us out endlessly. We greatly appreciate you. And we would also like to thank the wonderful people at Baobab Tree Studios for working with us to produce this podcast. So to Baobab Tree Studios CEO, Rev Kev, and Baobab Tree Studios lead sound engineer, Eamon Linehan. Okay. And then we would also like to shout out our listeners, because without your support, this would literally be nothing. We would be talking to ourselves, just ranting in our room like we usually do. But now we have a platform to give you guys our conversations. And so, make sure that y'all like, comment, share, and keep listening to Haven Talks, guys, please. And our next episode is going to be about toxicity in the Black household. So I know some of y'all can relate. So, make sure y'all stay tuned for a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a whole lot of us.
Really just me.
Actually, Robert's not going to be on the next episode. Robert's not going to be on the next episode.
I'm off the pod.
You're off the pod. Sorry.
I've been fired.
I will be recording this by myself by my lonesome.
Okay. You got all the personality, I guess.
Oh, really? Wow. Thank you so much. I'm taking over.
Janae Supremacy.
Janae, signing off.
Robert.
Goodbye. Goodbye.